Ahoy and welcome back to the channel, your go-to source for all things War Thunder. Today we've got some exciting news to dive into regarding the upcoming Sons of Attila update and the highly anticipated Rank 6 Blue Water ships. But before we begin, happy Father's Day from Australia. The first Sunday of September is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to everyone out there. Before we begin, shout out to Rowan from Rowan's Guide to War Thunder Naval. For his dedicated work, he's gone above and beyond to analyze the economic changes coming our way, and he's put together a comprehensive spreadsheet that we'll be discussing today. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to his channel because, as we all know, the War Thunder Naval community is like one big crew and we're all in this together. Here's his website, his feature on YouTube. Make sure to come and hit this subscribe button and the bell. Do him a massive favor and also the community a favor. Alright, let's jump into it. Sons of Attila is shaping up to be a game changer for War Thunder, and one of the most significant aspects of this update is the economic adjustments. Gaijin Entertainment is tweaking vehicle costs across the board, and Rowan has crunched the numbers. So let's see what's in store. Now, if you're as much of a spreadsheet nerd as I am, you're in for a treat because Rowan's spreadsheet breaks down all the changes to vehicle costs for every nation's tech tree. It's a real goldmine of information, and it's going to help us understand what these economic changes mean for us as players. First up, let's talk about the naval aspect of the update. We've all been eagerly awaiting Rank 6 Blue Water vehicles, as I'm sure you are, as excited as I am, and with the Sons of Attila update, they're finally here. This will open up a whole new dimension. If you haven't seen my previous video, make sure to check that out. These values were taken from the previously published repair costs, and so they may not be indicative of what comes, but from what you can see here from the good old US of A, is we have lots of decreases in both repair cost, purchase cost, and RP cost rather. And that is a net positive. There are some ships in the US line that are going up, like Northampton, Cleveland, Fargo, and the Wyoming, but generally it's a net decrease. And some of these decreases are quite substantial. They're either half or about 20%. And where things go up, it's generally about 5 to 10%. Now, if you have already started grinding out these tech trees, or you're almost to the end, then you are kind of going to be punished a little bit, because the majority of the savings are in rank 4, especially from the US. Now, we've also got the Texas added, so that's been included in this, but mostly it's a net decrease. So if you include the addition of Texas, it's actually increasing the values, but if we keep Texas out of the equation for a moment, generally, if you were to start the US line as soon as the patch drops, you will save 1 million silver lions in purchase cost and $250,000 in crew costs. Alright, so we'll come to the Germans now. The Germans, tier 1, there are no changes. Everything exactly the same, but we have some changes to the Z12 and the Z22, which for the Z22 is quite substantial. It's nearly half of everything. Z32 and Z43 have also come down substantially, almost 70% in the purchase cost. Z46, also substantial decrease, nearly 100,000 in the purchase cost. Emden has come down slightly, and while Leipzig has gone up. I'm not sure why Leipzig will go up, but then her sisters, the Nuremberg and the Köln, stays unchanged, but Nuremberg comes down, and then Spey has a massive decrease. So if you've been wanting Graf Spey, there she is, half price, sale. Hipper is identically lowered, very, very big change. Westfalen, that's a half for the Westfalen. The VDT is also half price, fire sale on the Dreadnoughts here. Helgoland, it's not quite half, but it's quite substantial. Kaiser, also a minor change, but Scharnhorst, the real change is Scharnhorst is going up quite substantially, and I think that's warranted. But overall, the German tree is looking very, very tasty, with a 2 million silver lion savings just on purchase costs, 500,000 in crew costs, and $750,000 less RP required to get to the end. I think that's a good change for Germany, whereas the Russians don't seem to benefit as much. Alright, what have we got here that I'm not going to pronounce that, but that one's come down significantly. Moskva has gone up, which I find to be a strange change, but that's okay. Maybe We've got the Sobral-Netzi, the Tashkent, they're all coming down. The Kavkach, the Spokojny, the Krim, the Kirov, the Bravi. The Bravi's coming down, which might be appealing to some players. So if you are grinding out Bravi, just leave it a few days. Chapayev is coming down a little bit. Sverdlov coming down substantially. Kutuzov, not much in the way of changes, but still enough. Poltava's coming down a little bit, as is Maria, but the Kronstadt is going up. Overall, the change is still a net decrease, but it's not as substantial as the Germans. Let's come across to UK. Now, there's no changes to Tier 1 in the UK, but that's okay. Let's have a look at Rank 2. Eskimo is coming down. The Nepal and the Kelvin also coming down. Nepal and Kelvin. Kelvin's quite a large decrease on the purchase cost, but there is no changes to the RP costs. Identically similar with the Armada, Diana, and Enterprise. No RP changes, but we do have decreases in the Silver Lion and the crew costs. Again, no changes to RP with Tobruk and Daring. And we have a major increase in the Dido. So I don't understand that, but that's okay. Arethusa, Hawkins, Leander, York, Kent, Southampton, London, Norfolk, Dreadnought, Colossus, Glorious, all taking decreases here. And that's positive for the British cruisers, I believe. Dreadnought, Colossus, and Glorious, slight changes to their costs. Glorious is actually a lot cheaper. That's appealing. Overall, there's a 2 million Silver Lion savings just in purchase costs. RP is nearly $1 million. We'll say $750,000 just to be generous. And then we've come across to the Japanese. Harakuzi, Yogomo, Hatsuhara, Akizuki, Izuzu, Kaku, Kuma, Sendai, Furutaka, Agano, Ikoma, and Aoba all taking major decreases. Especially Tone and Aoba. That's very, very cool. Suzuya, I should say. My mouth is not geared for Japanese today. Let's have a look. How much have you decreased? Nearly half price. Tone, not much change to Tone. Setsu and Mogami. Mogami, not much change there, but unfortunately, all of the Japanese battleships are going up in price. So if you're already well on your way to the Japanese battleships, you aren't going to benefit so much. If you're starting out Japanese fresh, you will save nearly $1 million in Silver Lion costs comparatively. Finally, not finally, but come across to Italy. Italy used to be finally, but now it's France. Leone, Margotini, Cozzieri. Oh man, I'm going to butcher these. Da Verrazzano, Etna, Colliano, Rigolo, the Cuck, the Trento, and the Eugenio, all taking decreases, which is positive for Italy because I'm yet to start, so I will really benefit from this. Abruzzi, Zara, Dante, and Doria all coming down in price ever so slightly, with Giulio unfortunately going up. I don't yet have Giulio, even though I've made a video that was via a test drive. So we've got $1 million Silver Lion savings with the Italians, thereabouts. Now the French do not benefit much from this at all. Rank 2, the Valtor, the Milan, the Marceau, the Le Malin, the Jeanne d'Arc, the Prima, the Colbert. The Colbert is not affected. Same with the Bertin. Paris and Lorraine are being added, and that's why we're seeing an increase in the price of French ships overall. But the rank 2 and rank 3 are coming down, which is good because I am also yet to start France, and I should really get my butt into gear, so to speak. Okay, so overall, we've had a very, very positive net change. America getting $1 million, Germany getting over $2 million in savings. Not so much for the Russians. So as we can see from Rowan's spreadsheet, some nations are experiencing much more substantial changes in vehicle costs than others, and this will significantly impact our progression through those tech trees and how we approach the game. Different nations are affected differently. Some nations are seeing a decrease, and this may change and influence the strategies that players adopt. For example, if a particular nation's top tier vehicle is now cheaper, it will become more accessible and we may see players using them more in battles. So like I said, if you're the vast majority of the way through a tech tree, you may be a little bit punished, but if you're starting out in War Thunder Naval, or you are wanting to start a brand new tree like I am with the French, or I really want to finish off the Italians, then it's going to be positive for you. So it will encourage you to spread out a little bit, and I think it's going to be great. But we're yet to see any actual economic changes, and they are still yet to be finalized. We have no word as to when that'll happen yet. It's fantastic to see community members like Rowan who are actively contributing to our understanding of these changes, and remember to support content creators like him who invest their time in making this experience easier for us to understand, because we know that certain, although Gudgeon are getting better at it, they haven't always been the best at explaining things. So it's great to see. Make sure you give him a like and a subscribe, please. As always, keep the discussions going in the comments section, because that's the best way for me to understand how you feel about these changes, and I've really been loving the engagement we've had in the last few weeks. How do you think they'll impact your experience? And yeah, whatever. Until then, happy Father's Day, fair winds, and following seas. Commander Tyrael out.